Good evening and welcome to the news. In the headlines tonight, President Jammeh extols the role of Gambian women in the National Development Crusade and appeals to the country's youth to take advantage of the opportunities his government continues to put at their disposal. Legal practitioners in the Gambia take part in a seminar convened to keep them abreast of new developments in the judicial system. Britain announces its recognition of Libya's National Transitional Council in a move that saw London open the doors of the Libyan embassy to the diplomatic representatives from Benghazi. And New York attorneys question the hotel maid who accused former IMF chief Dominic Strauss-Kahn of sexually assaulting her. This as doubts emerge about her credibility. These stories and much more coming ahead in the news. I am Mr. Romani. His Excellency the President, Chief Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh, Wednesday held meetings in Lamen and Bundung in the West Coast region and Kanifing municipality respectively, as this dialogue with the People's Store enters its final phase. Whilst Professor Jammeh paid tribute to Gambian women for being at the fore of national development efforts, he appealed to the country's youth to take advantage of the opportunities his government continues to put at their disposal. Alhaji Kebadiba reports.
The 2011 dialogue with the people tour has now entered the final phase. Wednesday saw meetings in Lamen in the Kombo North District and Bundung in the Kanefi Municipal Council. Thousands of party militants and supporters turned out in festive mood to welcome the president and delegation. In Lamen, President Jammeh, in response to locals' demands for the expansion of water and electricity services, announced that funds have already been secured for these two projects, promising that by 2012 these problems will be history. The President paid tribute to Gambian women for their unwavering commitment to the fight against poverty and for being at the vanguard of the National Development Crusade. President Jammeh singled out the women of Banjulunding and Lamen for the strides they continue to make in agriculture, especially horticultural production. The Banjulunding Horticultural Project, established in 1995, was part of the bigger drive for dignity and independence by growing what we eat and eating what we grow. Professor Jammeh again stressed the need for Gambian youth to abandon their lukewarm attitude and total indifference to their own welfare and by extension to the future of this country. The President, in a rather frustrating tone, once again made the passionate appeal to the youth to take advantage of the opportunities his government continue to put at their disposal and acquire the right attitude and skills to take this country to the next level of its development. Professor Jammeh questioned the rationale and wisdom behind the incessant urge for the so-called greener pasture in faraway Europe, using all perilous means of migration. He advised them to stay and utilize the facilities at their disposal and contribute their quota to national development and poverty reduction. Local speakers at the meeting used the opportunity to thank the government for being responsive to their needs and aspirations and pledge unwavering commitment and loyalty. In Lamen, several hundred opposition supporters announced their defection to the APRC. The next port of call for the president was Bundung in the Kanefi municipality. There too, there were mass defections of opposition supporters. In all cases, they premised their decision on the president's development achievements and his overall mission and vision. Speaker after speaker expressed appreciation for what the government has been able to do for them. They vowed to remain loyal to the APRC and the president, promising to deliver a clean and decisive victory to the APRC come November 24. The President again re-echoed his call on Gambians to change their attitude towards development. He warned people to be wary of opposition elements who are bent on fomenting politics of tribalism and vowed his government will never allow that to happen. Kevadiba, GRTS, with the presidential end.
Meanwhile, President Jammeh has appointed Mr. Babugay Sonko as APRC National Youth Mobilizer with effect from today, Thursday, 28 July 2011. A press release from the Office of the President states that Babugay Sonko replaces Mr. Majanko Samusa, who has been given another assignment. The release notifies the APRC Bureau, party militants and the public about this new development. The executive members of the Muslim Women's Association of Guinea-Bissau, accompanied by some officials of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council, Thursday called on the Vice President, Her Excellency Dr. Aissatou Njie Seydi, at State House. Speaking to reporters after the audience with Dr. Njai Seidi, Alaji Serif Bajan of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council disclosed that the visitors from Guinea-Bissau were at the State House to discuss with the Vice President a range of issues bordering on their operations as a Muslims association. The visitors, he said, were also appreciative of the stance of the Gambian leader and the Vice President on the course of their association. The visitors, according to Bajan, were in turn enjoined by various speakers, including the Vice President, to be always patient with the challenges that characterize their work as propagators of the Islamic faith. She assured them of the support of the President and the entire Muslim Gambian Ummah. The Continuing Judicial Institute of the Gambia is organizing a 3-day seminar for members of the judiciary. The conclave, which seeks to keep the legal practitioners abreast of new developments in the judicial system, centered on the theme equipping our judicial officers for efficient work. Ajami Sise witnessed the event's opening.
Judicial systems being upgraded to more standard structures, there is the need to reorient legal practitioners on issues that will result in efficient service delivery. It is in this context that Continuing Judicial Institute of the Gambia operates on to arm our legal practitioners with up-to-the-minute systems.
It came at the right time because the number of judicial officers, particularly Gambian judges and magistrates, have increased greatly in recent times. But perhaps, even more importantly, the concept paper came at a time that we have a Chief Justice that is receptive to new ideas, judicial reforms and developments.
With a broad spectrum of legal practitioners in attendance, the importance of judicial independence, comportment and ethics was stressed. Since the court is considered as the last hope of the common man where equal rules apply to all, the importance of justice in shaping the society was also dwelt on.
The confidence reposed in these earthly gods is sacrosanct, and anything that affects this confidence in the negative is catastrophic. The loss of public confidence in the judiciary will take our society centuries back to the days when life is, according to John Hobbes, short, nasty and brutish.
Although a large number of recruitments are said to have been made, the low-quality delivery of some legal practitioners owing to the sort of training provided by universities is serving as a concern to the authorities. The Chief Justice dilated on the need for continuous training, which can go a long way towards upholding dignity of the different professions on the legal systems.
That problem results from that pretension. I believe that a lawyer, a judge, should always believe that he does not know, he or she does not know, and has to know. And the best way to know is to keep on looking at the book.
The judiciary, by virtue of its role in justice dispensation, is one of the most important organs of any society. As such, capacity building for members of the sector can help increase competency in a domain many turn to for redress. For GRTS News, I am Ajami Sise.
The pneumococcal surveillance case control research project has been launched by the Medical Research Council in Janjanbureh Central River region. The surveillance system will monitor the impact and efficacy of the pneumococcal vaccine code named 13-valent. Ajami Sise tells us more.
Has been conducting surveillance in URR and CRR on pneumococcal disease such as pneumonia, sepsis and meningitis on infants under the age of 5. Before the inception of PCV7 into the country, the Gambia had an expanded program on immunization in August 2009, and this surveillance program has given that program a facelift, says Pacha Bosen, Research Project Manager MRC Bassi.
A staggering 1.5 million child deaths every year. The PSP case control study that is being launched in CRR today will try to determine the effectiveness of PCV13. This is important not only to the Gambia, but to West Africa, Africa, and the world at large.
Underlying the significance of the project, the architect of the